creative friends, it's Gwen and today I'm scrapbooking back to school. I've pulled Pebbles Ink Lovely Moments collection and I am going to be using a cut file, so let's get cutting. I'll be using this cut file from Cut to You. It is called Study Squad, and this project is actually part of a bigger YouTube hop called The Cool Kids Just Showed Up. It has been hosted by Sara Scraps, so be sure to check the description box below for all the other ladies joining me today. The moment Sara announced the theme for this year's back to school hop, I knew I had to document this photo of my daughter. It was taken on the first day of school this year. I'm an Aussie, so our school year runs actually from January through to December, so in line with the calendar year. This photo is our standard first day of school photo, but this year was a little bit different because it's her first year as a senior student. As a senior, she gets to wear what I have called the Power Blazer, and that's pretty cool. She attends a school that has all of the grades in it, so prep right through to year 12. So the kids who are in their Power Blazers are considered very cool by a lot of the younger students. So it's a real rite of passage and I wanted to document that. So while I've been chatting away about that, I have got the bones of the layout sorted. This is definitely going to be one of those designs that is center focused. If you imagine a line running vertically at the 6-inch mark up and down the layout, everything's going to be centered along that line. I also want to chat for a moment about the collection that I've used today. I was really drawn to it because of that lovely deep forest green. As you can see, my daughter's Power Blazer is in that same deep bottle green, so it was the perfect match. When I'm backing cut files that are titles, I do prefer to use a deeper, darker color, and that's just to help you be able to read the title much more easily. You do have to be a little bit careful with that because some of the prints on the pattern papers can really obscure the lettering and make it really hard to read your title. I am keeping today's layout super simple, so I want my title to be a real feature and I also want it to be able to be really easily read. This title design is in two parts. The A+ is separate from the Study Squad, so I am going to place those quite separately on the page. The Study Squad title is going to be centered and then I'm going to pop my photo centered above that. I have raised my photo up using some 3D foam, so it's going to have a little bit of dimension. The title Study Squad is actually totally flat to the page. The A+ portion of the title is going to go to the left of my photo. There are a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, there was a little bit of empty space in my photo on the left. You'll see my daughter is standing on the right of our front door. So there was some empty space in the photo there on the left that I wanted to sort of fill in a little bit. Secondly, my photo will always be positioned in a way where the subject matter is looking in towards the center of the layout. And I love that in this case, she's looking towards the beginning of the title, that A+ there. Now, by default, we will always have our eyes run left to right, and that's because we read left to right. So without even thinking about it, when you scan a room or if you're looking through a space, your eye will naturally travel left to right. So I love that it can start at the photo. It's following the line of the photo across to that A+, and then will naturally just go to read the text. That's the flow that's going to naturally happen on my layout. I am always really conscious of this and I'm often thinking about that when I'm creating. I find that it is so much faster to create layouts when you go with the flow of what's there. Whenever I've struggled and I've looked back and gone, oh, why was that layout so hard to make? Why did it take so long? it's generally been because I've been trying to fight the natural flow of the page. I was at a scrapbook retreat years ago with my scrappy bestie Tamara, and we were talking about this very thing, and she actually came up with the saying flowing clusters, because all of my clusters and embellishments and things that I add to a layout will always be going with the flow. They're not static clusters. They flow in keeping with the way that I want to draw the eye around the page. So as you can see here, as I've been chatting about that, it was very easy for me to determine where my embellishment clusters should go, because I've already determined that the eye is going to start at the photo. So I've got a small cluster in the top right hand corner. I want the eye to be drawn across the photo to the A, so I'm going to add some further embellishments to that section there, and then it's going to read the title, and I'll create a bit of a full stop by adding a cluster on the right of the title there. You might be thinking, oh, but hey Gwen, you do have 3 clusters and that's just a visual triangle. Well, yes it is, but the position of those 3 clusters is all about going with the flow of the layout. Now I'll want to make the clusters look quite uniform and not matching, that's not the right word, but yeah, uniform to each other. I want them to feel cohesive. So my little trick for that is to repeat icons. So each of the clusters is going to have a floral element. Each of the clusters will end up with a cute little animal. So there was 2 bunnies, and then the top cluster is actually going to end up with this super sweet bird. And they will also all end up with butterflies, hearts, and enamel dots. If ever I feel like my layout isn't coming together how I'd like, that's my go-to. I go and check, do all my embellishments have repeating icons? Are they consistent with each other? I really do love sharing the thought process behind my creating. If you are new to my channel, I do talk a lot about all of these things as I go through my process videos. So be sure to subscribe to see more just like this one. I'm rounding out the embellishment clusters now with a few smaller elements. There were a couple of little sentiments that were in the collection that I did use. The one at the top there says best day ever, and then there is another one that I add later on that says today is your day. Oh yes, and bloom and grow, that's at the bottom there. You can see the placement of the hearts now as well, one in the top cluster, one in the cluster on the left, and then I've actually added 2 to the title, one in the center of the D and the other in the center of the Q. Things are getting serious because I am gluing stuff down. I do like to wait until I'm 200% sure about the placement of everything before I add my liquid adhesive. So all good, happy with all that. I like to add the smaller details of the layout towards the end. So I am going to have a little play with these enamel dots. They're a funny one. They're a bit more like a puffy sticker than an enamel dot, but they're a lovely little finishing detail. I'll also be sure to include a couple of close-up images here for you. I want you to be able to see the layers in the clusters and the little details of the page. I did also add in a couple of gold foil butterflies from the collection. I did that off of camera. Here I am adding the little bird icon that is going to sit at the top of the layout, and that's going to call the layout done. Be sure to check the description box below for the other ladies playing along in the hop. And if you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I'd love it if you check out this video right here. It is another back to school layout. Thanks for being here, my creative friends, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye!